So question number first, I have show the flow of sum of energy through a food chain in ocean, right? If you see here, this is flow of energy. Energy is passing from one organism to another organism, right? If you see here, the first one we have, that is producer, that is what? Phytoplankton, small plant that living and plants are in ocean, right? So phytoplankton, from phytoplankton, energy will transfer to primary consumer, right? And some of energy will released and process of respiration. Remember, boys, here for this respiration, you should use the word energy release, because in respiration, energy is releasing. And that energy well utilized by yourself. Right? So you will not use the word here, energy used in respiration. No, because in respiration, energy releasing. That's why you should be clear about this word. Because in marking scheme, they are not accepting used and, because this is not correct. Okay, so this amount of energy released and respiration and decomposer get how much energy? This is a question. Right? So first of all, let's move to the questions. About 1% of light energy reaching the ocean is converted into chemical energy by phytoplankton. 1% of light energy that reaching the ocean. Only 1% of that. Sunlight that reaching to ocean, only 1% of that will convert into chemical energy by phytoplankton. And the phytoplankton produce what? Sugar, fats, and protein. By utilizing that energy, phytoplankton will produce sugar, fats, and protein. Question number first we have, name the process that change light into chemical energy.
Photosynthesis.
All right, good. So very good. The name of that process in which light energy is converting into what? Plant, here plant is what? Phytoplankton. They are absorbing light. Am I clear? They are absorbing these leaf absorbing light. And that converting that light into what? That light energy, they convert it into ATP. This is energy in NADPH. This is also form of energy. Okay. This energy well used for what? For fixation of carbon dioxide. For what? For conversion of carbon dioxide into glucose. Right? This will use for the conversion of that carbon dioxide to fats and protein. So that process in which light energy is converting into chemical energy, ATP and NADPH. That process is called what? Photosynthesis. So you will mention here what? Photosynthesis. Is it okay? All right. Now let's move toward another question. Name the chemical reaction in phytoplankton that absorb light energy.
Chloroplast.
Chlorophyll.
Name the chemical in phytoplankton that absorb light energy. So definitely what it's supposed to be? It is chlorophyll, because they are asking about that chemical. So you chlorophyll. You know, this chlorophyll is green pigment. Remember, boys, sometimes people are confusing in chloroplast and chlorophyll. Actually, this chlorophyll is actually, chloroplast is the organelle. where what is present? Where this green pigment present. And that green pigment is what? Chlorophyll. You can see here. And chloroplast, this green pigment present, it is present, in a part, that part is called grana. So in grana part of chloroplast, in the membrane of that grana, this chemical present. And this is called what? Chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is actually absorbing sunlight. Chlorophyll is actually absorbing what? Sunlight and converting that into ATP. And that ATP and NADPH, that will utilize for the fixation of carbon dioxide to convert that carbon dioxide into glucose. But for your level, just keep it in mind, sunlight convert into chemical energy, and that chemical energy convert carbon dioxide into glucose, right? All right. So another question we have, calculate using information from figure 6.1, how much energy passes from phytoplankton to decomposer. Decomposer are actually what? Fungi and bacteria that are doing decomposition. Show your working end space below. So let's go back to the table and see how much energy passing from phytoplankton to decomposer. So let's see. First of all, what we have to do, be with me, boys. Total energy absorbed by phytoplankton, it is 10000, right? This amount of energy, total kilojoule energy for phytoplankton. Now, question is how much energy will get by decomposer, right? And respiration, this energy released, and primary consumer get this. So what we have to do first, we will add this to how much energy released in respiration, right? And how much energy transferred to primary consumer. So let us add that, add 0, 0, 0, 0, right? And how much energy absorbed by what, or how much energy transferred to primary consumer, that 0, 0, am I clear? And 0, 0, and that 1, 0, 8, 8. Correct? 88,000 energy transferred to total energy of respiration and primary consumer is what? 88,000. So what I will do, I will minus 88,000 from total. So let's go down. This is our question, right? All right. So what we have to do right now, right? Minus 88,000. Right? So what should the value I will get it here? 12,000, right? Good.
12,000.
Yes, kilojoule. Right? So this is the answer for your question. All right. Let's move toward another question. Write two groups of decomposers.
Bacteria.
Decomposer, that organism that are
Fungi.
doing decomposition. We have what? Fungi and bacteria.
Bacteria.
All right. I hope this is clear. All right. Now let's move toward another question. Study question very carefully. Calculate using information from figure 6.1 the percentage of energy passes from the phytoplankton to primary consumer. So let's go back to question. Let's go back to that energy. So what's the question? Percentage. Question is calculate percentage. How much percent this is? That 8,000 transfer from phytoplankton to primary consumer. So what is the percentage? Percentage means out of 100, how much this is. So what you have to do, good, most of you are correct, but let me count it because I received it's correct, most of you. $8,000 according to percentage formula, 8,000 divided by what?
100.
Total, right? So I have to remove that, right? And multiply by 100. Okay. So what you will get, please? All right. So what should be the answer?
8%.
8%. So it means if you take this total 8, if you see here, this, if you count it 100 kilojoule. So in that, it means 8% transfer toward primary consumer. About 88% of energy in the primary consumer doesn't become part of the secondary consumer. Explain how this energy is lost from food chain. It means about, like if you go back, so what is the question? From primary consumer to secondary consumer, only 12% according to your question, only 10% energy transfer. From primary to secondary, only 12% energy transfer. It means 88% energy. What happened with that 88% energy? This is question. Where this 88% energy utilized? Check. Now, see here. According to question, from primary consumer, only 12% energy transfer, 88% energy. About 88% energy per primary consumer does not become the part of secondary consumer. Why this 88% energy not become the part of secondary consumer? So let's see. Good, very good, very good. So most of you are correct. The first one is, some energy released in respiration, right? Respiration, good. Another one we have the energy release, a thermal energy release to the surrounding in the form of heat, and some become, let me check your answer. Okay, not all the part of plant can be eaten by consumer. Some food remain, unconsumed, and you throw that. So not all the parts of plant are here. We will mention here that not all organism are the primary all the organism we didn't eat, right? And some material may removed in the form of excretion, right? And some may be absorbed your body and become the part of your body, right? Become biomass of the secondary consumer and become biomass of secondary. So your answer should be Lost in excreta, energy lost in excreta during excretion, and not all primary consumer eaten. Okay, and also energy used in your body for movement. Okay. Another question we have, the organisms and this food chain from a community in the ocean. The community is formed of many population. Many population come together and they forming what? Community. Explain what's meant by the term population. So what's that? Yeah, a specific species that live in a habitat, right, in a specific place at the same time is called what? Population. Right? Specific species are one type of species. As I told you before that, for example, human living in one place, but there are no any other organism, only one kind of species that are human. That is population. If you know one type of plant, right? For example, I tell you one kind of plant, Rosa indica, that is living at a specific place, but no any other kind of plants. So that is what? Population. So we can write it here, group of organism, group of organisms belong to one species, right? Living in specific area at the same time. Okay, we call that what? Population. At the same time, it is must, you know, like it is not like this that you are counting organism remain here for 10 years before and you are counting that. No, at the same time they are living. Another question we have, figure 9.1 shows a part of food web for South Atlantic Ocean, right? So if you see here, this is food web. This is the collection of what? Different food chain interconnected with each other at different trophic level, right? So the first one we have algae. It means this food web started from what? From algae. So algae are what? Here algae are producer. Okay, while this krill is what? This is primary consumer. This is herbivore. And later on, what start with you? Yeah, what start with you? Consumer start from here, right? This is herbivore, primary consumer. Then what will happen? Secondary consumer and tertiary consumer for that food chain. For this food chain, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary, and quaternary consumer. Right? It means from here, what start from here? From this above, all are what? All are carnivore. They are eating meat. So let's see the questions. What are the questions we have? What are the questions we have? Go down. Name the top carnivore in this food chain. What are the top carnivore in this food web? Sorry. So top carnivore, let me see. Yes. So you can see at the end which one we have. Killer whale, right? It is the last one. right? Because if you see here, primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, and so on, so it come with you what? Killer whale. It is the last one. So we will count it the top carnivore. All right. So let's move toward another question. Name the member of this food web that is both a secondary and tertiary, that occupy both positions, secondary and tertiary.
Leopard
So,
seal.
really? So let me check.
No, it's a blue penguin. A blue
Okay,
penguin.
give me answers so that someone is telling well color and someone.
It's
No,
a blue penguin.
I need the answer of this, please.
No, Adeline penguin, my bad.
Really? Okay, let me check. This one, right? So see, here this one occupy two food chain. One food chain in this one, right? So in this food chain, it's primary consumer is this, so secondary consumer is this. So in food chain one, this penguin occupy secondary consumer position. Or yes, primary and secondary, right? And another food chain that we have, this one food chain that start from algae, coral, fish, and this penguin. In this food chain, see here primary, first one, secondary and tertiary. So it means this penguin occupy two positions, that is primary and secondary trophic level. So our answer should be penguin, right? Ideally penguin. So mention that because it is occupying two levels. Use the information from the food web to complete the food chain of 5 organisms. Food chain of one given to us already. So it means we will search for 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go. Search for 5 organisms, including algae. So algae 1, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. No, right? So let me check another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is okay. This food chain is okay for me. Right? Algae. So here you will mention this one, then this one, this one, this. So total how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This one food chain you will mention there the name of these organisms. So for this you can also consider other food chain also, like this one food chain if you want to consider it, this food chain. So algae, coral, fish, penguin, and seal. So this food chain up to here, this become what? Also become 5 organisms total. So you can also count, it's up to you. Another question we have, in the future, the extraction of mineral resources in the Antarctic might occur on a large scale. So this could destroy the breeding grounds of the roost seal. State and explain the effect this might have in the population of leopard seal. What is happening? It means when roost seal decreasing, because of this activity extraction of minerals, roost seal is destroying the breeding ground, the place where they are doing breeding. That place is destroying. It means simple, because of this extraction, it is destroying roost seal breeding places, and because of that, roost seal will decrease. And when it is decreasing, so what is the effect of that in the population of leopard seal? So definitely, let me first go toward roost seal. What's that? Roost seal, right? So roost seal is actually what? Food for leopard seal. So it means If root seal decreasing, so if root seal decreasing, so food availability for lipid with what? For lipid, well, less. When for lipid food availability less, so what will happen? Lipid will also start to decrease because of less availability of food. Then lipid will only depend on what? That will only depend on this adelia hanger. And when this is only depend on this, so what will happen? This adelia hanger population will also start to decrease because there is no any other source for this leopard seals is a food to eat, so the leopard will also depend on this adelia hanger. But for here, our question, this explanation is enough. All right, good. You can see here, because of the presence of this alternative source of food for leopard seal, so this will decrease, population will fall, leopard seal population will fall, but not much because of the presence of this alternative source, that is penguin, while the penguin population will decrease, that will fall down, right? Another question we have, state and explain what effect this might have on population of fish. What is the effect of this on population of fish? So let's move back toward here. If you see here, you can study the question from different angles. For example, the first one is, leopard seal is now using what? Penguin, right? So finger number will start to decrease. When finger numbers start to decrease, so what is the effect of it? The effect of that on fish population? Well, this penguin actually feed on fish. But if there are less penguin, so the fish population will start to increase because of the less are the there is no availability of what? A penguin. There is no predator for fish, or there are less predator for fish. So because of that reason, fish population will start to increase. Here you can also see on this angle, for example, root seal decreasing, right? So squid, root seal, there is no predator or less predator for squid. So squid will increase. When squid increase, so what will happen? More and more krill will eat by whom? By squid. So krill will decrease. When krill decrease, so what will happen? When krill act is a food for fish, so less availability of food for fish, so fish population will decrease.